Hey everyone, welcome back to my another video. And in this video, I'm going to describe the conditional statements. And if we want to make conditional statements, we use the keywords which are written here, like if, elif, and else. So watch the full video and you will understand that how we make conditional statements. First of all, we have to know the order of the keywords in which we can use them because generally there will be many questions in which we have to make conditions more than two. So for that type of questions you have to know the orders so that you can make the conditional statements correctly. So these are the orders of the keywords. So the first order is if, elif, else. So you can give conditions using the if in the starting and then elif and then else. This is normally I have taken the example of three conditions. Like if you have to give three conditions, then you can use like first keyword if, and then you will give condition, and the second keyword will be elif, and then you can give condition, and the last one will be else. So this is how you can use if, elif, else. And if you have more than three conditions, then you can use like if, elif, 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 and else. Means for any number of conditions, you can use if in the starting and else in the ending. And between if and else, you can use any number of elif conditions, so it will be correct. And the next condition is if sorry, the next order is if means for any number of conditions, if you don't want to use elif and else, or you if you don't know how to use elif and else, so you can simply use if for every condition in the starting, in the end, and in the middle. So it will not be wrong and it will be correct. So you can also write the conditions in this way, like all the conditions by using the if keyword. And the third condition is if, elif, elif. So if you don't want to use else, then you can also give conditions like if, elif, elif. Like it is not necessary to give the ending condition by the else keyword. You can also end the conditions by using if keyword and elif keyword. But the most important thing to remember is we can't use else keyword in the starting. Like I have written in the last order that firstly I have used the else, and for the second condition I have used if and elif. Then it will be wrong. So this is very important thing to remember that we can't use elif or else in the starting. We have to start with if, and then we can use elif any number of times. It will not give any error, and else can be used only one time in the ending. You can't use else again and again. So elif can be used any number of times, but after if, and else can be used in the ending for one time, but else can't be used in the starting. This These are the orders which you have to keep in mind, and then you can make conditional statements. These are not tough, but the one thing which you have to keep in mind are these orders. So that's all you have to know about if, elif, else. And now we are going to practice questions to understand how can we make conditional statements and how it works. So this is the first question. Write a program to check if a number entered by the user is odd or even. So in this question, first we have to take an input from the user, and then we have to check that the number is even or odd. So let's do this question. So the first thing we have to do is to take a variable in which we can store the number which the user will enter. So I have taken num as the variable here, and I have written num equal to int input enter number. So I think everyone can understand that enter number is written here because the user can see this and understand that what we are asking for. And input is the function which is used to take input from the user. An int function is used to do the typecasting, so the user can enter only integer number here. Now we are coming to the conditional statements. So here we have to check that the number is even or odd. So the best method to check that the number is even or odd is simply to divide the number by 2. If we will get remainder as 0 after dividing the number by 2, then it will be even number. And if we will get a remainder other than 0, then it will be an odd number. Thus, here we Here we don't have to write the both things, that uh, we get 0 or we get uh, any other remainder other than 0. So we can simply write here only one condition by the if statement, and then we can write else, because there are only two numbers possible. Either it can be even or it can be odd. So if the if condition will be false, then automatically the else condition will be true, because if a number is not even, then it is obvious that the number will be odd number. Thus here we have to give only one condition. So here we have used only if statement for the first time, and then we don't have to use elif here. If you have two conditions or more than two conditions, then you have to use elif. But here we have simply met the conditional statements by using if and else, because either it will be even or it will be odd. So if the condition of if statement will be false, then it will be automatically, we can understand that the condition of else statement is true. And I think everyone must remember this, that we can't write any condition with else keyword. Else keyword is used because it shows the automatic true or false. Like if the condition of if keyword is false, then automatically the work we have given inside the else will work. Because if just I said, like if the number is not true, then automatically it is even. So I think everyone can understand now. If you will have any problem, then you can comment to me. I will give the solution for your query. So I have written here if, and in parenthesis num modulo 2 equal to 0. So everyone can understand that a single equal to sign is an assignment operator, and if we use the equal to sign two times, then it work as the equality. It is used to show equality. Everything I have discussed in my previous video. So if you haven't checked that, then you can go and see. So here we have used two equal to signs to show the equality, and the modulo is the operator which is used to find the remainder. So here simply I have written num modulo 2, which means the number entered by the user will get divided by 2, and if, and then the Python interpreter will check that the remainder is equal to 0 or not, because we have used the double equal to sign. So the Python interpreter will check, and if the number will be uh, even, which means if the remainder will be 0, then the function inside the if condition will work. That is, print number is even will work, because the if because the condition of if statement is correct. So the work inside the if statement will work. And if the condition of if statement will be false, then the function or the work inside the else statement will work. And if the condition of if statement is false, this means that our number is not even, and not even means that the number is odd. So automatically the else condition will be true, and the work inside the else statement will work. So I am taking the example, like I will run this code and I will enter a number 62. So you can understand that everyone know that 62 is an even number. So now the Python interpreter will divide 62 by 2, and then we will get the remainder 0. So the Python interpreter will check that the remainder is 0 or not. So it will find that the remainder is 0, which means the condition in the if statement is true. Then it will give us the output number is even. And as the condition of if statement is correct, then it will break the code here. It will not run further, because we have already checked that the number is even or odd and we got our answer. So the interpreter stop the code here and it will not run further. And if I will enter 63 instead of 62, then 63 is the odd number. So it will be get divided by 2, and then the remainder will be 1. So it is not equal to 0. Thus the if condition will be false. And now if the if condition is false, then it automatically go to the else condition, and the else condition will become true, and the work inside the else condition will be done. That is, our output will be number is odd. So I am running the code here. First, you can see that enter number is coming, and now I have entered 65 here, and you can see the when you will write 65 and you will press enter key, then your output will come, and you can see the output is number is odd. This is how our code works, and this is how you can make conditional statements. And again, if I will run my code, and here this time I have entered 66 as my number, then it is an even number. So when I will press enter key, then my output will be number is even. Now this is our next question, and we can say next example. So here we have to check that the number entered by the user is divisible by 7 or not. So it is very similar to the previous question. So like the previous question, here I have taken the variable num, and this variable will store the number which will be entered by the user when the user will use the program. Now in the second line, I have written the conditional statement. So this is very similar to the previous question. Like in the previous question, we have to check that the number is divisible by 2 or not. And in this question, we have to check that the number is divisible by 7 or not. So only in this question, we have to write 7 on the place of 2. So I have written if num modulo 7 equal to 0. So the modulo will give us the remainder after dividing the number entered by the user by 7. And then the Python interpreter will check that the remainder is equal to 0 or not. Why? Because we have used the double equal to sign, and this works to compare two things, and it shows the equality between two things. Thus the Python interpreter will check, and if it will find that the remainder is 0, then this means that the condition of the if statement is correct, that is true. So if the condition of the if statement will become true, then the work which we have given inside the if statement will going to perform. So this means that in this question, if the condition of the if statement will become true, that is the number is divisible by 7, then our output will be number is divisible by 7, because the print function inside the if statement will perform its work, and it will give us the string which is written inside its parenthesis in our output. So yes, this is how it works. And similarly, if the condition of the if statement will become false, that is the remainder after dividing the number by 7 is not 0, then the Python interpreter will move to the else condition, and then it will perform the work which is given inside the else condition. So then if the condition will be false, then it will give us the output, that is number is not divisible by 7. So it is very obvious that if the condition of the if statement is false, then it automatically goes to the else, because we have only two things: either the number will be divisible by 7 or the number will not divisible by 7. So if the condition of if statement is false, this means the number is not divisible by 7, and yes, this is what the else condition hold. So yes, this is how this code will run and give us the output. So we will run our code, and here we can see that the output holds enter number, the string which we have given inside the input parenthesis. And now we have to enter a number. So I am entering 49 here. And now when I will press enter key, then it will give me the final output. That is the number is divisible by 7, because we know that 49 is divisible by 7. So yes, this is our output. So this is the last example I'm going to take in this video. So in this example, we have to make a program which will give the grade according to the number or the marks entered by the student or teachers. So this is a small real world program which will help teacher or student for examining their grades. So let's do. So first of all, we have to take a variable. So here marks is my variable, and in this variable we will store the number which will be entered by a student or any teacher, that is the user. So now in the second line I have written the condition statement from second to eighth. So In this conditional statements, you can see that I have used elif for two times. So I said this before that you can use elif for any number of times, but it is very necessary to remember that we have to start by using the if keyword. That is, first we have to make an if statement, then we can use elif any number of times. And we can also use if for any number of times. There is no restrictions for it. And yes, we can't use elif and else as a first statement, first conditional statement, and else only can be used in the last as a last conditional statement. And you also have to remember that we have to give conditions which will be true or false when we are using if or elif keyword, but we can't give conditions when we are using the else keyword. So this is why the else keyword always used in the last line, because when every conditions become false, then the condition of else become automatically true. That's why we don't give any condition in the else statement. So in the second conditional statement, I have written elif marks greater than equal to 80 and marks less than equal to 90. So greater than equal to and less than equal to are the relational operators. And here I have also used one logical operator, that is and. So when you are using the logical operators, you have to keep in mind that how they give the final output, that is true or false. So let me remind you that and always give the true output, that is it will give the output true only when both the conditions it is relating are true. If any one will be false, then it give the final output as false. So if both the conditions are true is the only time and will give true as its final output. So here in this statement, if both the conditions will be true, that is if the marks will be greater than equal to 80 and less than equal to 90, then it will give the final output, or it will give the that is, I can say, the Python interpreter will find finally that this condition is true. So then the work which we have written inside the elif statement of the fourth line, then it will start working. So I can take example like if the user entered 85 as the marks, then 85 is greater than 80. So the first condition is true, and 85 is also less than 90. So both the conditions are true, which means the condition of elif statement is overall true. Then the print function will give the output, and our output will contain grade B. And if like I have entered 91, so 91 is the marks which is greater than equal to 80, but it is not less than 90. So this time one condition become false. So Python interpreter will find that the overall condition of the elif statement is false. Then this statement will not work, or the function which we have given inside the elif statement of the fourth line will not work. So this is how Python interpreter checks and the program works. Similarly, in the sixth line, I have written elif marks greater than equal to 70 and marks less than 80. I think you can understand. And and the work I have given inside the elif statement is print grade C. And now the last conditional statement is else. So when all the conditional statement above the else statement will become false, then the work which we have given inside the else condition will work automatically. And just remember one thing, that if like you have entered the marks 92, then the Python interpreter will first go to the else statement. Python interpreter will always move line by line to the conditional statements. Like first it will go to the second line, then fourth line, then sixth line, and then eighth line. So it will move one by one. Either you have entered 91 or you have entered 75. So it will move one by one. Thus, if your number is 92, we are taking an example that if your number is 92, then it will find that the condition in the if statement is true. So it will perform the tasks which we have given inside the if statement, and the program will end at that point and it will not run further. The Python interpreter will not check the further statements because it has already find what it have to. So this is how it works. And if we will enter 75 as the number, then first it will check uh, the if statement, and then it will check the first elif statement, and it will find the both conditions will be false. And now it will move to the second elif statement, and then it will find that the condition of this statement is true because 75 is greater than 70 and it is less than 80. So this condition will be true, and then the task which is given inside the second elif statement will work and give our output. So this is how the Python interpreter checks and do all its work and give us the proper output. So now we will take example and we will see that how it works and how I said. So first we have run the program and enter marks will come, and here I have entered 95 as the marks. So now I will press enter key, and here is my output. As 90 is greater 95 is greater than 90, so the condition of the if statement becomes true and the print function works, which is written inside the if statement, and our output contains grade A because grade A is the statement which we have given inside the if keyword, and thus this output come. So similarly we are going to take another example, and this time I have entered 75 as the number, and now I will press the enter key, and you can see our output is grade C. So it will check the first two conditions, and when it will find that both the conditions are false, then it move further and check and give our output. So I hope that you have understand everything what I discussed in this video. So if you have any problem, then you can comment to me. You can write in the comment section and I will give you the solutions. So thank you for watching and follow for more videos and clear your all concepts related to Python.